I know this title sounds crazy, but hear me out for a second. This video is going to be more of a discussion than it is of like a factual video. It's just me giving my perspective on a topic. And today's topic is, should they have killed Asuya off during the Juggernaut drive scene? Now I have a lot to say about volume 6, but I'll leave most of that for my review, which may be out next, I don't know. But after reading this volume, the only thing I could think about was that they really should have just killed Asuya off, or that it would have been cool if they would have killed her off. Now before I get into the why, I will say I don't hate Asuya, and I don't hate them for keeping her alive. I get why they did it, I get playing it safe, and I get it, it's a harem anime, you're not supposed to be taking it super seriously. But man, imagine the statement that would have made if they would have ended the volume with Asuya dying, or at least ended the volume with us thinking Asuya died. It would have completely changed the tone of the entire series, and it would have made the series a lot more unpredictable, because I don't want to say High School DxD is a predictable anime. They do have moments that caught me off guard, but they're not really stretching your imagination with the series. You're not on the edge of your seat thinking about what's going to happen next. And again, I think the only problem with this is because it's a harem anime, High School DxD is pretty limited on what it can do and who they kill off, because at the end of the day, the authors have to satisfy their fans, and killing off one of the main girls isn't really the best way to do that. But let's get into the why they should have killed Asuya off. Now when I watched High School DxD, I didn't really think they should have killed her off, but when I read it, my opinion completely changed. So for starters, the foreshadowing in this volume is crazy. Volume 6 is littered with moments of Asuya talking about how much she loves Issei and how she doesn't ever want to leave him and how she doesn't regret saving Deodora. I mean, the whole volume starts with Asuya saying, "Can I stay with Issei forever?" So you have all these moments with Asuya, and it's clear something's going to happen to her. But the conclusion they came to at the end of the volume was just disappointing and overly safe. Like again, I get playing it safe. I get the author doesn't want to kill her off, but in this case it just felt way too safe. Asuya dies for like 5 minutes before she comes back. Like we don't even get a chance to really feel the pain of Asuya being gone. The reality of her dying doesn't seep in for long enough. The initial shock of Asuya dying really does hit hard. You add that with Issei going berserk and you have a really good moment, but then it feels like it was all for nothing when she comes back 5 minutes later in the middle of Issei going Juggernaut. Half of the Juggernaut drive scene gets ruined by Asuya being revealed to be alive, and then the other half I'll get into when I get to my light novel review. But I wouldn't have hated it if she did survive, but they just brought her back way too early. Issei going berserk happens because he thinks Asuya is dead. In what world does it make sense to reveal her to be alive in the middle of his rage scene and then not even use her to calm him down? If they would have went that route of she comes back in the middle of the fight and then she's used to calm Issei down, that would have made a lot more sense, because it would feel like she was important in this moment. But I don't get the point of them revealing something that important at that bad of a time. Like, just wait a second for the reveal so the impact can be felt. But again, I get them going the safe route. You don't want to kill off someone's waifu. Just imagine that statement that would have been made if they would have killed Asuya off. Like, again, that would have changed the whole aura of the series. A common theme in High School DxD is the characters not facing any consequences / them getting bailed out. It happens way too often in this series, and up until this moment, they've been bailed out of almost every single fight. Issei got saved by Rias against Donoseek, but that's obvious. Then he gets saved by Rias against Freed, which again I let slide. If he would have lost against Rainier, Rias would have been there to back him up. He failed to save Asuya the first time, but luckily Rias was there to revive her. I mean, Rias literally killed 3 members of the Fallen Angel side, but no one cared. No one on the Fallen Angel side cared. The team lost to Riser, but luckily Sir Zex had a way for Issei to crash the wedding and save Rias. And even if Issei would have lost to Riser, Sir Zex said he had a way for Issei and Rias to run away. Volley saved them from Kokabille. Konako failed to protect Gasper, but that literally ended in nothing. I can't think of a single outcome that happened because of that. Issei couldn't beat Volley, but luckily Volley doesn't want to kill Issei. The characters aren't strong enough to beat Loki, but luckily they have Mjolnir. Issei literally gets eaten and killed by Fenrir, but good thing Ravel gave him this random Phoenix tier. That honestly might be the worst one. That one was ridiculous. Even when I was watching it, I was thinking they were pushing it a little with that one. They get surrounded by thousands of Chaos Brigade members, but thank God Odin's here. So up until that point, the characters have either been bailed out or they haven't faced any consequences for their actions. Issei doesn't know consequences. He hasn't felt them yet. This would have been the perfect time and the perfect way to show them. To show him that this devil thing is dangerous. Deodora takes Asuya. Issei wasn't paying attention to her, and he took her. A mistake this little could have led to the biggest regret of Issei's life. And of course, since Issei doesn't know any consequences, he naively thinks he can just run up there and beat Diodora up and save Asuya. But things turn bad when he can't break Asuya from her little constraints. But here we go again. Issei luckily just thought of a move that can get her out of them. No consequences again. Asuya is saved again. Everyone gets to go home. Or so we all thought. Asuya disappears. Up until now, the characters have gotten out of every single situation, but for the first time, they don't know what's happening. Xiaoba comes in and revealed that Asuya is dead. Asuya, the nicest character, the character Issei always talks about protecting. He couldn't protect her again for the second time. Issei again couldn't stop Asuya from dying. And this time there is no Rias to reincarnate her. For the first time, Issei isn't able to get out of a situation. He doesn't know how to deal with this. He doesn't know how to deal with the pain, the guilt, the despair of losing Asuya. So he snaps. We get a really good moment of Issei finally having to go through something traumatic, and you're left with the question of what will Issei do now without her? How will Issei live with this guilt because he made the promise to protect her and he couldn't? What is Zenovia gonna do? Well, it doesn't even matter because right when Issei goes berserk, here comes Vali to save the day again, and the characters get bailed out again. And when I got to this point in the light novel, I had a very bitter taste in my mouth. This whole journey, we haven't got to see the main character deal with any type of trauma besides for the Rainier thing. He hasn't dealt with any consequences. And right when it feels like he's about to, right when it feels real, right when I really thought they were going to change something in the series, the author plays it safe. It really just feels like a wasted opportunity. Imagine how many character arcs we could have gotten with this. Issei getting over his guilt, Zenovia feeling useless, maybe even the characters turning on Azazel because Azazel set them up and used them as bait. You get a chance to explore something we haven't seen before in the series, but again, it just gets played safe. Asuya's fine, and so is everyone and everything else. Nothing changes. Nobody grows from this experience. The only thing that really changed was how Issei viewed Asuya. She kind of becomes more sexualized in his mind, but that really doesn't matter, and that was already happening before. It's just a missed opportunity. The streak continues of them getting bailed out every single season. Vali saves Asuya. Vali then helps them save Rias. And then in the next season, Wukong comes in and helps them beat Soso. The only word you can really use to describe this is just safe. We miss an opportunity for characters to grieve with each other. We miss an opportunity to feel something, like sadness, shock. These are the initial reactions we have to finding out that Asuya is dead, but again, the moment is cut so short, and we are reminded of what High School DxD is, a harem anime. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. High School DxD is just a harem anime, and because of this, there's no reason for them to take any crazy risks, because people just don't care. They just want to see girls. They don't care about the story, so there's no reason for you to go hard in the story. But imagine if High School DxD wasn't a harem anime. Imagine if people actually cared about the plot. Imagine if it was known for being a good anime instead of just being a good harem anime. If that was the case, then maybe we could have seen a risk like this being taken. But because it's not, there's no reason for them to take a risk as big as killing off one of the main girls. And it really is a shame because in one hand, High School DxD thrives off of fan service. It's important to the plot, and you can't just get rid of it. But on the other hand, they would be more inclined to take risks, to be different if the main focus wasn't on the fan service. And this isn't even a knock on High School DxD. Of course, I think High School DxD still has a really good story. Trying to balance fan service with an actual good story clearly is really hard because you really don't see any other harem anime that has a good story. But High School DxD for the most part is able to balance the fan service with the story. They just have a few missed opportunities, and that's kind of where this dilemma I have is. Would High School DxD be better if they cut down on the fan service and focused more on the plot? I mean, I think it obviously would be, but then the question would be how much fan service do you cut out? And I don't have an answer to that question. But what I do know is that they could have done better with the Juggernaut drive scene, and Asuya in particular. Like, even if you don't want to kill her off, why would you reveal her so early and then not even use her? It's just so dumb to me. Whatever though. I like this video idea because it made me think a lot. Next video would either be the light novel review or the hot takes. You probably noticed this, but I had to change my outro, and I know you're probably wondering why, and it's because of this comment right here. So first, last, 201, this is all you're doing. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.